I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. The title of tonight's Starborn show is A Blessing in Disguise. And that is because there's something really good that could be coming your way, but it is somewhat after the effects of tomorrow's full moon in Aries, which is creating a grand cross in the cardinal signs, and that is very harsh. And what that actually means is that there will be no reconciliation in a partnership, a contentious partnership, or in some sort of legal agreement. There will be no reconciliation at all. And why is that? Because there are 4 planets, one each, in all of the cardinal signs. And the cardinal signs, where the full moon in Aries is hitting tomorrow, and by the way, it's so late, it's at 25 degrees, so the moon's in Aries today. The effect of it is going to go on today. And that is because the full moon is in Aries, but it is being sorely opposed by the sun at 25 degrees of Libra. So they're in exact opposition, which occurs when the lights oppose each other under full moons. And so that simply means there can be no reconciliation, or there can certainly be a breakup in a partnership. Libra rules partnership, which is where the sun is. And so there can be a breakup in a partnership and no reconciliation concerning some sort of legal agreement of some sort. So we're looking at that right away. But the other 2 planets that are in the cardinal signs right now are Mars, which is in Cancer, and it is being opposed by Pluto in Capricorn. Now, Pluto is now direct. It's no longer retrograde. It's at the 29th degree of fate, which generally means something's on or over, and Capricorn rules your career and your public reputation and your retirement in one way or another. So that Pluto, which is now direct and is about to go into Aquarius soon, is opposing that Mars in Cancer. Mars and Pluto are the rulers of Scorpio, a fixed financial sign. But these planets are opposing each other, and remember, an opposition always indicates a separation. And so there can be arguments or dissension about the things that Cancer rules: family, home, or financial matters. So there can be attitudes that are completely irreconcilable about those things, and that simply is due to financial discrepancies of one sort or another, because Mars and Pluto are opposing each other. And so there can be dissension also about career choices as well. So these 4 planets that right now, today, are squaring and opposing each other indicate that there will be no reconciliation. Now, why is that? It is because the cardinal signs, the outstanding trait of cardinal signs is that the cardinal signs rule virtue and vice. They rule right and wrong. And the problem that's being created now with this very harsh grand cross in the cardinal signs is that everyone who has an opinion thinks they have the only right opinion. They think they're right and nobody else is. And that's why there's no reconciliation. It won't occur. These people can't agree. And so we all have these cardinal signs somewhere in our chart. I don't know if you have planets in these signs, but it's just a time when there will be no reconciliation. There will be a breakup that will be a permanent breakup in a partnership or in a legal agreement. And that is what leads to a blessing in disguise. And that is because there are a lot of other ways to make a new beginning right now, or to have a new partnership, or to make a dream come true, or to make really better career decisions for yourself. And the reason for that is that there are so many trines among the other planets. So let's look at that, because that represents the blessing in disguise. First of all, last week there was a grand trine of 4 planets in the water signs. Well, this week there are 5 planets. Half of all the planets in the heavens are in a grand trine in the water signs. And that is because Mercury has now moved into Scorpio, and it is joining Venus in Scorpio, which is at the 29th degree of fate. And remember, when planets are at the 29th degree of fate, something is on or over. And remember that Pluto is also at the 29th degree of fate. Neptune is at the 28th degree, heading back in toward the 29th degree soon in Pisces. And in fact, there are 8 of the 10 planets are all in the last decan of their signs right now. Now that's another underlying reason why there's going to be no reconciliation in things that have, partnerships that have worn out, or contracts where there's funny things going on. No reconciliation at all right now, no going back. And that is because 8 of the 10 planets aren't going to be doing that. They're all getting ready to leave the signs they're in, and so we are looking forward to great change. And that great change in your life could represent a blessing in disguise, because not only is Mercury and Venus, are they both in Scorpio, but they are being trined by 2 other planets, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, and those 4 planets are being also trined by that Mars in Cancer. And so this is a time when a fond wish or hope or dream that had been around a long time, because Saturn is in Pisces, and Pisces does rule wishes and dreams, that could come true now, because it's got a lot of backup. And that is because of 2 things right now. An old fond hope or wish or dream of yours could come true right now due to better communication. That's because Mercury is in Scorpio now, and just simply because there's going to be more money around for that. There may not be as much money around for things that have been going on for a while, and I'll explain that in more detail, but there can be more money around to make a fond dream come true, and there can be a lot better communication now about that, because of these 5 planets that are all in a trine in the water signs. So that's good. And then a blessing in disguise could come another way to you, even if there is no reconciliation somewhere else in your life. Okay. And that can be because there are 2 planets trining each other in the practical earth signs. And that is because Pluto is at the 29th degree of fate in Capricorn, and that rules your 10th house of career, your public reputation, and your retirement. And it is trining Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus. And Uranus is retrograde. It's going to be in Taurus for another year, but Pluto's moving on over to Aquarius pretty quick. So right now, this trine in the earth signs, which also trines the sign of Virgo, and even though there are no planets in there, in that sign, that's a nice trine to it. And that simply means that your business concerns, or your career concerns, or a concern about how you may want to enhance or change or even end your public reputation in some way, and perhaps even retire right now. All of these things can be sort of coming to a head right now, and it means that you need to make very practical considerations right now, and that means this would be a very good time for you to conserve your resources. In other words, downsize a little bit. Because we may not know what's coming, but if you wanted to cut your expenses, or you wanted to downsize your lifestyle in one way, or even due to health concerns you may consider retiring right now, then you could do that. That could be no reconciliation right now means that you could make a new beginning, and maybe in a practical sense you could downsize and take a little of the load off your shoulders, and maybe have a better life in the future. And if you conserved your resources, you could then afford it. So this is a time when you really need to be very, very practical about how much your life is costing you, in not just in a physical way or in a financial way, but in a mental way as well. Mental stress is pretty hard to live with. And this is a good time to sort of get real practical. And you can do that right now. And that can be a blessing in disguise. And then there is another trine, and it is among the air signs. And what that means is that sun in Libra is beautifully trining Jupiter in Gemini, and Jupiter is retrograde right now. That means that even if there is no reconciliation in an old partnership or some sort of contract ends, it simply means there could be a new partnership headed your way, and it can be something that you could do in a way that involves a part-time effort or a temporary effort, just something that you sort of want to try on and do with other people. Well, that's creating a new partnership, and it's perfectly possible. You could do that. You could reach out and touch and find nice people to work with right now, and that would certainly be a blessing in disguise, because it means a hope for a new beginning in a partnership. That's a sun trining Jupiter, and so that's good. And that could get even better, because Pluto, remember, is at the 29th degree of Capricorn. By the middle of this month, or November, it is moving straight into Aquarius, and it will trine that Jupiter in Gemini. So this is actually a very good time for you to look for new partners. So you have that to look forward to, and that could lead to a much better future. However, oh, wouldn't you know it, there are 3 planets right now that you can't get around at all. And that is because they're in both of the fixed financial signs. And we all have to pay attention to that, because the 2 financial signs are Scorpio and Taurus. And Taurus rules your investments and the money that you make and what you spend it on, and it rules high-priced things. And Scorpio rules money coming in from other sources, such as credit, debt, taxes, loans, insurance, inheritance, grants, things like that. And the problem is that Mercury and Venus, which is at the 29th degree of fate in Scorpio, are opposing that Uranus, which is one of the malefic planets because it's so unstable and volatile, in Taurus. And Venus is almost exactly opposing Uranus in Taurus. And so what does that mean? Well, first of all, these 3 planets are squaring the other 2 fixed signs, which are Leo and Aquarius. And so that simply means that if you or somebody you know has taken a gamble, that's really not going to pay off right now. Or if you are a person that has taken a gamble and you're getting pretty worried about that right now, and you sort of need somebody to bail you out, it's not going to happen. And why is it not going to happen? Because the people with money are going to keep it in their hands. You know, people who would be willing to sort of help you out in some other way or bail out a risky gamble of yours, they're not going to do it. They're going to keep their money on in their own hands. Venus in Scorpio. And maybe it's because past gambles and even bailouts that they have given others before have just led to more gambles. I mean, you know, it's sort of a bottomless pit. And so that's not going to happen anymore. People who have taken a gamble, they're out of luck. And that is because the people who have the money to bail them out are going to keep the money in their own hands. And so all of us are going to have to start over in one way or another, either because there's no reconciliation among people who all think they're right, and they can't all be right, but they think they are. So that's not going to work under the Grand Cross in the full moon in Aries. Or else it can simply be that those who have money are tired of bailing out others who are big spenders, but aren't doing anything to support themselves. They're always looking for a handout from others. That's coming to an end. So anyway, that is why there is no reconciliation, but it can be leading to blessings in disguise, because it can make you go forward and start a new partnership, or finally resurrect an old dream of yours and follow your feelings and reach your highest ideal and make it come true. And have better communication and the money to do that with. So good luck on all of that. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, you, Aries, are certainly having a lot of light on you right now because the moon is in your sign today, and tomorrow it will be full at 25 degrees in exact opposition to the sun, which is too bad because it looks like there's going to be a breakup, or it's already happened in your life, Aries, and that breakup is irreconcilable. There will be no reconciliation for that at all. It's over. Something's really over, Aries. It wouldn't matter how much you tried, it's over. Yours is the only fire sign that has a planet in it. There's nothing in Leo and there's nothing in Sagittarius. So under this full moon, your sign doesn't have any backup. And it's got the sun opposing your sign. Mars in Cancer is squaring your sign. And Pluto in Capricorn is also squaring your sign. So where could the end be coming? Well, it might be in your career. And it might be that you may be negotiating, for instance, with your employer about a raise or something, and that isn't what they have in mind at all. They have layoffs in mind instead. Do you see what I mean? No reconciliation. And so there won't be any. And if you are trying to resurrect some old agreement or get somebody to bail you out of a gamble, that isn't going to work either. And so you are looking at a situation where there is no reconciliation right now. And it could even involve some sort of financial discrepancies in regard to home or family or career matters of some sort. Okay, so you're starting over, Aries, is what I'm saying. This is not a new moon. This is a full moon. So there's going to be a lot of light on you, Aries. And so I would be real careful what you say and do right now, because a lot more people are going to be looking at what you're doing than you think. And so what you might want to do at this point is simply, since there was a wonderful solar eclipse in your sign last spring, you might want to just divert your attention away from your other troubles and an old partnership that's really over, and just start really thinking about that new idea that you had last spring and try to get that shaped up in some way. You'd have to do all the work yourself right now, Aries, but Aries are loaded with energy. It's just try not to get bogged down with what you might call yesterday's problems, because they really are in the past and there's no way to fix them. Just let them go, Aries. Fire signs are good at that. Fire signs are good at starting over, particularly your sign. And this is a year when a lot of people can start over. So if you are looking at a breakup and no reconciliation, and perhaps it's already happened, and that a real end to a legal contract that isn't going to be negotiated under any circumstances, that does leave you a blessing in disguise, which is the freedom to make a new beginning on your own. And you are excellent at that. So if I were you, Aries, I would just forget yesterday's problems if you can. Walk away from them. And my advice to you is walk away with your head up. Just look straight forward toward your future. Because Pluto's squaring your sun right now, but by the middle of November it will be in Aquarius and it will begin to sextile your sun for many, many years. You can make new friends and attract new partners if you want to. Partnership is not really an Aries trait. Aries like to be the boss. But if you can afford it, maybe you could start something on your own and be the boss. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. Well, Taurus, there is a trine in the earth signs, which is good for you because it gives you the chance, even though this is a period of no reconciliation whatsoever, and it gives you a sort of a blessing in disguise because it leaves you free to be thinking about how to conserve your resources or how to downsize a little bit so that you can sort of be comfortable over time. And that's because Pluto in Capricorn at the 29th degree of fate, which means a career of yours could be either on or over right now, Taurus. I think it would be even if it was over, it would be of benefit to you because Pluto's trining your sun. And so this may be a better time for you to consider retirement. And possibly you have been pretty good about putting money away for retirement, and that could be affordable right now. That could be a blessing in disguise because you wouldn't have to work so hard and you could still enjoy a comfortable life. And that's entirely possible right now, so you should think about that. And if you have a health problem that you need to address, I would do it immediately. while these two planets are trining your sun. And the reason why is that you may be able to draw on a health insurance policy that you have right now. And that would be good, because if you were actually looking to make a new start that was going to cost you a lot of money, I don't think the money would be there, Taurus. And the reason why is that Mercury and Venus in Scorpio are opposing Uranus in your sign. Okay? And that means that if you wanted somebody else, even an insurance company or somebody you know or a former partner, to pay for your expenses in the future, it's not going to happen. And if you wanted to get them to cover a gamble of yours that hasn't paid off, that's really not going to happen. Because people are going to keep, those who have money are going to keep it, they're going to keep it in their own hands. They're not doing bailouts anymore. There's going to be no reconciliation about that. Many people are going to have to depend on their own financial resource, and you are too, Taurus. I think you have some. And so this is a time to sit down and try to really downsize and conserve your resources, and perhaps consider a comfortable retirement instead. There's nothing wrong with that. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, the blessing in disguise doesn't get you away from the fact that there can be a change or a breakup in a partnership, and it might be a preference of yours. You may be thinking, that's okay. And the reason why is that you have Jupiter in your sign, Gemini. That means that your life is going to expand, and it generally makes Geminis feel pretty optimistic about things, because Jupiter is an optimistic planet. And the sun in Libra is trining your sun, and we just had a solar eclipse in Libra that trined your sun. If a partnership ends or a legal contract is done for, and there won't be any further negotiation at all on it, you know, that's just going to leave you free to look for other ways to expand. And you're going to have a whole year of opportunities to do that while Jupiter is in your sun sign. But it also means you could attract new partners now. That's the blessing in disguise. Is that no matter what kind of troubles we're all facing right now, particularly in partnerships that are over, or arguments where there is no reconciliation because everybody thinks they're right, so nobody's agreeing. Okay, well, that can't go on. So things are going to end. There will be no reconciliation. And so we have to be a lot more on our own. And the blessing is that you could attract new partners. They would also be very attracted to you, Gemini. And Gemini, your sign rules the public. You need to get out among the people and just make friends. Just talk to people. Just open up. You know, Gemini have the gift of gab. They can talk to anybody about anything. And you never know who you're going to meet and who could be attracted to you. But with the sun trining your sun and Jupiter in your sun sign, there's a very good possibility that there's somebody around. You may have already met them or just met them that would be an excellent new partner for you. And so I would say, you know, it doesn't have to be a forever kind of thing, but you could try it on. It could be temporary or part-time. It could lead to a better future. In fact, it is aspected to lead to a better future for you. And so I would consider, you know, don't cry over yesterday's news, Gemini. You don't need to. Just go out and see what else the world has to offer, because there's somebody around that's going to be an even better partner. And whether they're in a part-time effort of yours or whether they involve new people coming into your life, I think they're going to be delightful. And the important thing for you to remember is that since you have Jupiter in your sun sign until next summer, they will be delighted with you. So you don't have anything to worry about, Gemini. As long as you get out, people are just going to love you. You know, sun's in Libra. Libra rules charming people. They'll find you charming, and you'll find them charming. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer. This is a time, Cancer, when there is a breakup happening in your life somewhere. And it can be among home or family or some kind of concerns involving financial discrepancies that are not sitting well with you, Cancer. Now, I'm telling you the bad news first because it means there will be no reconciliation. It means that somewhere in your life, I think you've written somebody off, that you're just fed up and that's it, because Mars is in your sign. And Cancers are very, they're sort of patient and they're quiet and they try not to ruffle anybody else's feathers, and they don't like to get their feathers ruffled either. But there has been a situation or a partnership or a legal agreement or a person somewhere in your life, or maybe in your career, that you have contact with, and you've realized that, boy, no matter how wonderful you thought they were at one point, they have proven not to be. Excuse me. And so, simply by the proof of their own actions, they have shown you that they are not a good partner, that they are undesirable, and there will be no reconciliation with them. So I would say, Cancer, on that level, involving someone from your past, you've had it. And you'd have good reason for that. Pluto is opposing your sun sign, so it could be somebody connected with your career or a business matter. The full moon in Aries is squaring your sun sign, so it could be a woman who wants to have her own way all the time. That could drive you crazy. And the sun in Libra is squaring your sun sign, and that simply means that people may want to sort of latch on to you as a partner, and it might, in the past, it may have been that they could see you as an easy touch. And you may have been. And that's all over, Cancer. Okay. But that's a blessing in disguise, because there is Grand Trine of 5 planets in the water signs. You are going to benefit beautifully if a partnership is over for you, Cancer. It's going to be finally that the sun is shining in your life, instead of it always being cloudy or rainy, so to speak, or very thunderous and contentious. Okay, that's all going to be over, because there will be no reconciliation, and that's going to be fine with you, Cancer. You're ready to move on. And lucky you seem to be in the right spot at the right time, or maybe you have a fond dream that's been around for a long time and you'd like to make it come true right now, because Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are trining that Mars in your sign, and Mercury and Venus in Scorpio are also trining Mars in your sign. That's wonderful for you. That means if you wanted to make a fond dream of yours come true, or you wanted to form a partnership with somebody who really meets your highest ideal of a good person, you could do it. And the reason why? Because there would be much better communication, and there would be more money to do that. That is Mercury and Venus at the 29th degree of fate in Scorpio, trining your sun. There are far more good aspects to your sun sign than bad ones, because the good aspects are sort of piling up on each other and really helping you out of a bad situation that you've already grown really tired of. And whoever you thought was wonderful at one point, you have seen their true colors, and you're tired of looking at that, and it's done. There's going to be no reconciliation, and there's going to be no bailout. So congratulations, Cancer. Look around for your blessing in disguise. It could be right in front of your face, Cancer. It's going to be wonderful. And remember, this is a very good time for you to act on your feelings. It's good for everybody, because half of all the planets in the whole universe are trining each other in the water signs, and the water signs rule our feelings. So good luck. Better days are certainly ahead for you, and more happiness. But it is because I think you're finally fed up with something. No reconciliation is okay with you. You're ready to move on. And speaking of moving, if you're thinking of moving, I think you've sure got the motivation and the energy to do it, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, there's only one planet in a fire sign right now. That's better than the last few weeks when there haven't been any planets in fire signs. But that planet is the full moon in Aries. It'll be full at 25 degrees tomorrow, but it's in Aries today, and it is trining your sun, Leo. And so that's the good news, that there is a planet trining your sun right now. Because unfortunately, there are other planets that are creating challenges for you, and that simply means that it would be better at this point, Leo, for you to consider making a new start. And that is because this is a time when finances can be one of your major concerns. And since your sign rules gambling, if you have taken a gamble with anything, no one's going to bail you out of it this time. No one's going to lend you anything anymore. That people who have money are keeping their hands on it right now. And that is because Mercury and Venus in Scorpio are squaring your sun, and Uranus in Taurus is also squaring your sun. And by next month, Pluto will move into Aquarius and oppose your sun for years. Leo, you are really looking at making a major change in your life. This will be very good for you. It's a blessing in disguise, Leo, because Leos are sunny people. And they like to be the boss. They like to be the leader. They like to be, captain of the team. And if you have done that to the extent where you think that you are the only one that has the leadership abilities, this may be a time when team members are not agreeing with you, and they could be moving on, going their own ways. And so this is a better time for you to look real carefully at your own finances, Leo, because some financial resources that you have been counting on for years, that you may have counted on in the past, they're not going to be there anymore. People are keeping their hands on their own money. And so if you had been counting on some extra money coming in, or some investment of yours paying off in a grand and glorious way, I would look again at that. I'm not so certain that that's going to happen. 8 planets are all in the last decans of their signs. They're all changing. That means a change in the world. That's a lot. 8 is a lot. And so you've got to consider a lifestyle change now, Leo. And it might be that you prefer living a simpler lifestyle. That would cost less money, for one thing, so perhaps you could just live, if you conserved your resources and you downsized a little bit, and even if you decided to retire or just do something part-time instead of full-time, that would really work out well for you, because Jupiter is in Gemini and it is sextiling your sun. And Gemini rules part-time and temporary efforts. Jupiter's a great planet. It's in good aspect to your sun because it's sextiling your sun. So I think you need to sort of scale down a little bit. In fact, scale down a lot. And if there is something that you have got a really good idea about, then go ahead and follow through on it. But I would say just take one step at a time and make sure you can afford it before you take a step, because nobody's going to bail you out, Leo. It won't happen. The people who have money are keeping their hands on it, I guarantee you. So try to do your best. And if you had to sort of aim a little bit lower right now, think of it as a way of you building a base before you expand. Okay, you could do that. In 2 years, Jupiter will come into your sign. Okay, it's going to be in Cancer next, then it'll come into your sign. So if you were thinking of scaling down right now and starting something new, but on a much smaller base and a more affordable one that only you have to pay for, because there's not going to be anybody else paying for it, you could progress for the next 2 years, and by the time Jupiter gets into your sun sign in 2 years, you might be real happy you did that. So consider taking a few steps back right now, Leo, in preparation, in a way to make yourself able to take bigger steps in the future, which is perfectly possible. But you have to step back first and sort of reorganize at a lower financial level that is more affordable. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time, Virgo, when there's 2 really good planets trining your sun. One of them is at the 29th degree of fate, and that is Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees, and it is direct now. It's moving on out. It's a real slow mover. And even though it only has 1 degree to go, it'll take until next month to do it. But still, it is trining your Sun, Virgo, also at the 29th degree of Virgo, and then Uranus in Taurus is in late degrees of Taurus, and it too is trining your Sun. And that means that this is a very good time for you to downsize and conserve your resources. And that isn't just your financial resources, Virgo. Your sign rules accounting. You probably know where all your money is because you look at that, I'm sure, on a daily or a very consistent basis because your sign rules accounting. But if you downsize and conserve your resources, this could have a much more beneficial, a blessing in disguise by having a more beneficial effect on your health. And that would be easing your mental stress, so that would be good to get rid of that. And it would also be, if you downsize and you conserve your resources so that you're not spending as much in your life, that means that you could have a more solid financial base to live on, even if you were doing it in not such an extravagant way. Actually, Virgos are not really extravagant, unless they have some planet in Leo, because Leo rules extravagance, and that's right next door to your sign. So actually, Virgo, this is a time that I think that there can be, for all of us, a breakup in a partnership and no reconciliation, or a canceling of a legal agreement and no going back on it. It's going to be over. And there is the possibility that that could affect you in your career in one way or another. And so you should be proactive, Virgo. You should think, Virgos know what their budget is. They know where the money is because your sign rules accounting. And so as you're projecting forward about what you want to do and how much that's going to cost, you should spend much more of your time on that, Virgo, and how you are going to get your health costs covered, or if you can change your health habits. And if you've been spending a lot of money in one way or another in your health habits, and you decide, okay, I'll cut that out, that could give you a better base financially as well. So there are some changes that you probably should be making, Virgo, and that is to improve your health and to improve your budget, and possibly to look forward down the road towards your retirement and be able to afford that a little bit better too. So I think if you are concentrating on managing your own funds with a long view in mind, you're probably going to do pretty well right now, Virgo. I would take advantage of the trine of these two planets in the earth signs right now, because as I told you, Pluto's not going to stay there, and Uranus is going to be out of Taurus in another year. And they have been trining your sun, both of them, for the last 7 years, and Pluto has been trining your sun for at least like 17 years. And so you haven't had so many career problems, and that is coming to an end. Okay, people are going to have a hard time realizing when Pluto finally leaves Capricorn, which is doing next month, as it moves forward into Aquarius. That's really going to change the business climate in large corporations, government agencies, and institutions. And nobody can afford what they've been doing in the past. There's going to have to be downsizing everywhere. So I just suggest you get a jump on it, Virgo. Be ready. All right, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, the sun in your sign is trining Jupiter in Gemini beautifully. And so that means that a blessing in disguise in your life right now, Libra, could be the fact that you have a lot of ability and probably motivation right now to form a new partnership. And the reason why is that yours is a cardinal sign. And oh boy, there is a grand cross in cardinal signs right now. And you're probably feeling the heat from that, Libra, because the moon in Aries, which will be full tomorrow, is opposing the sun in your sign almost exactly. And so oppositions represent separation, so there can be a separation in your life. And believe me, it represents no reconciliation. If there's something over in your life, Libra, it's done. There's not going to be any going back no matter what. Now, somebody might want to still be hanging on to you, but you're not going to feel like hanging on to them. And the reason why, I mean, Libras are real nice, charming people, but there's just too much tension in the cardinal signs right now under this Grand Cross, because Mars in Cancer is also squaring your Sun, so there's home, family, or career dissension due to financial discrepancies. You could not be very happy about that. And also, so there's legal complications there. And then, let's see, Mars in Cancer is squaring your Sun, Pluto in Capricorn is squaring your Sun, and the full moon in Aries is opposing your Sun sign. The only way out of an intractable situation that is not going to change, so there's no reconciliation to it. By the way, I think that's okay with you. I don't think you want to go back for round 100. You're done, Libra, with trying to fight yesterday's battles. And there was just a solar eclipse in your sign. That's why I know you're done. You want to move forward. And the blessing in disguise is that the Sun is in your sign and trining Jupiter in Gemini. You can be actually very popular right now, not with the old crowd, because they want to keep using you. Okay, and you've had it. So I don't think you're going to go back to that. Libras are always charming, but they have brains too, and they know when things don't add up, and they know when they're getting used. And I think you have finally concluded, Libra, that enough is enough. And I congratulate you on that, because you've got a great future ahead of you. And when Pluto moves into Aquarius next month, it will be trining your Sun, and Jupiter in Gemini will be trining your Sun till next summer. I mean, there is the blessing in disguise is something is really over for you. There will be no reconciliation. It's done. And you're tired of arguing with people that think they're always right. And that's enough. And so, since your sign rules peace, you could find a lot of peace in a new partnership. And it could be in your neighborhood. It could be in some temporary or part-time effort that you're making, or in a short course that you're taking at school, something like that. Just very, very easily, you could form a new partnership with somebody who is equally delightful. You would like them, they would like you. That's great. And so that's perfectly possible, and it would lead to a better future for you, Libra. There's no telling where that would lead, but it will lead right into the future, because Pluto's going to be starting to trine your Sun next month. Well, it's going to do it for about 17 years, Libra. Go ahead and make new partnerships. They could be delightful, and they could last longer than you think. And they could be with people who themselves are rather powerful in one way or another, because that's what Pluto rules, people in upper management. So you have nothing to lose by moving forward and leaving the past behind. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time, Scorpio, when you can almost do no wrong. Oh, lucky you. And that's because there are 5 planets in the water signs, all in a Grand Trine with each other. Last week there were 4 in a Grand Trine, but now there's 5. That's even better. Because Mercury is now in your sign, along with Venus, and Venus is at the 29th degree of fate in your sign. And so that 29th degree means something is on or over. But the planet is Venus, Scorpio. I think love is in the air. And it can be involved with someone who you consider to be your highest ideal, because that Mercury and Venus in your sign are trining Saturn, which is a planet of time, in Pisces, which does rule dreams, and they're trining Neptune, the planet of high idealism, which is also in Pisces, and it's the ruler of the sign. And so this Venus-Neptune trine is an indication that you can want to be involved with somebody who could represent a fond dream of yours that you've had for a long time, and they would be somebody that you would consider to be sort of an ideal person for you. Other people may not see it that way. That doesn't matter. That doesn't involve other people. It just involves you and whoever the dream is. And that's going to work out real well. Particularly if you follow your feelings right now, Scorpio, while Venus is still in your sign and Mercury is there too. And the reason why a fond dream of yours can come true at last now is because of much better communication. That means you and whoever your ideal is think alike. You know, Mercury is a planet of the mind and communication. And they can represent somebody you really admire, that you really look up to. And they think the same of you, Scorpio. That trine, Venus-Neptune trine, is sort of magic. It's really good. And then Mars in Cancer is trining your Sun, meaning that you may be looking at a new partnership, because Venus rules partnership. It rules Libra, where we just had the solar eclipse. And you could be thinking of making a move of some sort, and you should. And it wouldn't be half as hard as you think, because Mars is trining Venus and Mars is trining Mercury. You could probably talk some friends into helping you with that. And Saturn can give you the stamina because it's trining your Sun, and a fond dream of yours can come true right now because Neptune is trining Venus and your Sun. So if ever you were going to act on your fondest dream, or making a new partner of someone who is your highest ideal, do it now, Scorpio. Do it now. Not only are the stars with you, but with 8 planets all in the last decans of their sign, they won't be back in this good a configuration for you for a long, long time. So don't put it off. Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. Do it today. Make your wishes known. The communication should be flowing. It will be fine. Don't worry about it. Great minds think alike, Scorpio. Venus trine Neptune. Mercury trine Neptune and Saturn, and everything being trined by Mars, your own ruler, in Cancer. If you're making a move, or you're deciding to remodel your home, or whatever you're doing, it is going to be in combination with realizing a very fond dream of yours that you've had in your heart for a very long time. It's destined to come true now. And the only reason it wouldn't come true, I don't think there is a reason why it wouldn't come true. This is wonderful for you, Scorpio. So, whatever you've had in your secret heart, share it. Share it with the person who is in your secret heart, and you may be delighted that you were just as secretly in their heart. That could be possible. So keep going. Good luck. All right, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius. Finally, there is a planet in a fire sign. It's the moon in a horrible grand cross in Cardinal Signs, but it is in Aries, and it is trining your Sun, Sagittarius. And Aries does rule new beginnings. You could want to be starting a new beginning right now, but it would be what I would describe as an uphill climb. Now, that's all right for you, though, Sagittarius, because your ruler, Jupiter, which is in Gemini, opposing your Sun sign, it still is in Gemini, and Gemini rules part-time or temporary efforts, okay, or short travels, or it rules buying and selling, advertising, promoting. It rules the whole communications field, and it rules the agent or the middleman, you know, getting people together. And so that planet, Jupiter, your ruler, is being beautifully trined by the Sun in Libra, where it was also trined by the Libra solar eclipse. And so, Sagittarius, this is a time when you might take a look around in your surroundings and realize that you may be able to sort of rub shoulders with people who could become new partners of yours rather easily. You might just have to reach out to them a little bit more. Well, nothing wrong with that. Yours is a fire sign. Fire signs have a lot of energy. And so, you know, the Sun in Libra sextiles your Sun, and so did the Libra solar eclipse. And they are trining your own ruler, Jupiter, in Gemini. And when Pluto goes into Aquarius the middle of next month, it too will be trining Jupiter, your ruler, in Gemini. And it'll be sextiling your Sun. You're going to be able, Sagittarius, in the years to come, slowly, okay, I'm not saying, fire signs think everything has to happen fast. But sometimes the best things that stick around a long time happen slowly. And so when Pluto moves into Aquarius next month and sextiles your sun, it's semi-sextiling your sun right now. It's in Capricorn right ahead of your sun sign. It means that slowly you will be meeting more and more powerful people. And as you're rubbing shoulders with them, they're probably going to increase your power as well. I think it will be reciprocal because it's a sextile. That sextile Pluto is going to stay sextiling your sun for the next 15 or 20 years. We've never seen Pluto in Aquarius. I don't know how its stay in a sign is erratic. It's not the same time in every single sign. And so it's going to be there for a long time, Sagittarius. So you need to get out while your ruler, Jupiter, is being so wonderfully aspected right now, and you need to look for new partners. And it's going to be easy. Just walk down the street. You'll probably bump into somebody. And they'll like you too. And then you're off. You're not exactly off and running, but you are off into your future. And one thing leads to another. And you'd be surprised that some of the new people that you're going to meet are going to take you with them wherever they're headed. And you would like that. Your sign rules travel. So surprisingly, you may go on a few trips that, if I were you, I would put some money away for extra travel in the years to come because you're probably going to do it, Sagittarius. Being led on by people who are quite influential and want to include you in their group. That could be done. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn. Pluto, which has been in your sign for so many years, except when it briefly went into Aquarius earlier this year, is now getting ready to permanently leave because it's at the 29th degree of fate, and by next month it will be in Aquarius for many years to come. And so that's going to be a slow shocker to people, particularly in the earth signs. That would be Taurus and Virgo, and your sign as well. Because Pluto is a planet of underlying truth and power and slow, steady success. It rules Scorpio, and Scorpio is a fixed financial sign. And so in Capricorn, it had been sextiling Scorpio for years and years and years. And so that may have helped you in your career, Capricorn, because it was in your sign. And in the last 6 years, it's been trining Uranus in Taurus, which is a real good backup. Uranus is a volatile planet, but the trine meant that you could suddenly sort of make money in different ways, or your investments would have suddenly taken off in one way or another. And you could have benefited financially from that in the years when Pluto was in your sign. You could still do that right now, Capricorn, because Pluto's at the 29th degree of fate. What I think that really means for you, Capricorn, is that you may be at the end of a career, and it was a kind of career where even if you have already retired from it, you could go back because you're real good at it. Somebody would hire you again, you know that. And that is the way you want to go. The way you're thinking of going is toward a new career. And it probably is something that you want to do for the rest of your life. So it might be a hobby. It might be a hobby that you turn into a career. Americans are famous for doing that. They think that when they retire from one job, well, then they'll go and tinker with something else that they always wanted to do instead. And that turns into another job. And Capricorn, your sign rules the 10th house of career. And it rules your public reputation. To a Capricorn, respect is very important. They like to be treated with respect, and they do that to others as well. And that respect has to be earned, meaning that, you put in your time, you do your job right, and you try to do your best, and you keep going. Perseverance is the byword of a Capricorn. They do keep going, which is very good because Capricorn rules old age. And so most of them live a very long time. But it doesn't mean, now that Pluto is getting ready to leave your sign, that you're going back to the past. Even though you know you could make money at that again if you're retired. Or you could stick in the same old career. But I think when Pluto moves in right into Aquarius, it'll still be sextiling your sun, so you'll have opportunities for a better future. And I think it's going to be in a different career. Or something that you already know how to do, but you're going to do it sort of in a way that's more pleasing to you. Capricorn rules bureaucracy. And so Capricorns are very good at working in administration. Administration is ruled by Capricorn, actually. Administration means one person does this job and the person below them does another job that's supporting that, and the person below them does another job that's supporting that. You know, layers of bureaucracy. But it might be time, Capricorn, for you to be your own boss. And that just means you would want to carefully and for a long time keep developing your talent until you could do that. And it looks to me like you're going to be able to. You're going to be able to create your own better future. And I would take steps in that direction this year. And the reason why is because Pluto's moving out of your sign and it's moving into Aquarius, where it will be trining Jupiter until next summer. And Aquarius rules the future. And Gemini rules part-time things. I don't think you have anything to lose by that. Whatever you're thinking about tinkering in, whether you're retired or not, I'd give that a go, Capricorn. That could lead to a much better future for you. So I hope you think about that. All right, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius. This is a time, Aquarius. Remember when I said there's going to be a blessing in disguise, but the reason why is because there will be no reconciliation. There will be a breakup in a partnership or in a contentious legal agreement, and it's going to get over and done and not be revived. Something is really finished. And Aquarius, that is going to do you a world of good. And the reason why is that, yes, there is a harsh T-cross, or harsh Grand Cross in the Cardinal Signs right now. Okay, well, yours isn't a Cardinal sign, yours is a fixed sign. So there's a lot of people who are clashing, and old partnerships are out. There's going to be breakups. There's going to be dissolution of legal contracts. There's going to be no reconciliation. And there's going to be no bailouts. Because people who have money are going to keep their hands on it right now. They're not going to be bailing out. Now, it doesn't mean that a family member might not want to help another family member. By bailout, I mean somebody who has continually taken gambles or exceeded their income and always been able to go out and get more money from somebody else. There's not going to be, that isn't going to occur anymore. Whoever has some money is hanging on to it now. So Aquarius, this is a time when in some way the blessing in disguise that can be coming into all of our lives right now after the end of a breakup or the end of a partnership or a legal contract, that blessing is going to be a true golden blessing for you, Aquarius. It's going to be wonderful for you. So if there is a partnership that was on the rocks anyway, and there's no reconciliation now, what's over is over, and you don't want to go back for one more, struggle, you can just say, fine, goodbye. And the reason why is that, first of all, the sun is in Libra, where the Libra solar eclipse was, and that is trining your sun, and Jupiter in Gemini is also trining your sun, and in November, Pluto comes into your sun sign, and you begin this rather slow accumulation and buildup of your own power for at least longer than the next decade. It's going to keep going. And so a breakup does you a world of good. Or if you're deciding whether to go back to some situation that you used to have or relationship that you used to have, I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be no, that you're done. And your sign rules the future anyway, and that you're going to just go ahead in the future. And so this is a very good time for you to be looking around in a somewhat casual way, in sort of an easygoing, everyday kind of way for new partners. And it doesn't have to be that you meet somebody immediately and say, hey, do you want to be a new partner? But you could go out and test the waters. You could see what other nice people are in the world. They're around. Jupiter's trining your sun until next summer. They could be younger than you. Young people? Well, what's wrong with that? Young people have a lot of talent. They're always clued into whatever's going on today because they know about that. But what they lack is mature guidance. And that's what older people can give them. And that's sort of a good blend. The maturity and the enthusiasm, and they get together and they begin to make beautiful music. And that's called a great partnership. That's a blessing in disguise for both sides. They both benefit. And that's something that you could run into, Aquarius. How do I know? Maybe it's your next door neighbor. Maybe it's somebody you meet in a class. Maybe it's somebody that you play a game with. But they could turn out to be a great partner of yours. And that's what you need, Aquarius. You need some better partners in order to really take off in your future and accumulate more and more power yourself. And Pluto is a planet of power because it rules deep psychological transformation, change, and truth. And that's what you're going to be facing anyway. It doesn't matter how old or young you are, Aquarius, that is what you're in for years to come, as soon as Pluto comes into your sign. It'll be slow, but I mean, check with me in 10 years, Aquarius. You will be more powerful than you are right now, and you'll love it. So just go out and make new partnerships. And whatever in the past has disappointed you, as far as a situation where there's no reconciliation right now, kiss it goodbye, because there's a whole lot of better things ahead of you. And I don't think you should wait. You should just head right for them. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces. This is a time, Pisces, since yours is a water sign, and there are 5 planets, all in a Grand Trine in the water signs, that something which is a blessing in disguise, because it represents a situation, a past partnership situation where there will be no reconciliation. So there's going to be a breakup in a partnership, and there is going to be, and you're never going back. You aren't. Even if they want you to come back, you're not going back, Pisces. And it's done. It's over and done. No reconciliation. Because the other person always thinks they're right. And they're not going to listen to you anyway. And they didn't in the past. And so that's done. Or there can be some sort of legal contract that is just finished now. And it's not that it's null and void. It means it's really over. And that's good for you, Pisces, because you have Mercury and Venus in Scorpio trining your sun, where you have Saturn and Neptune. That means there's somebody around in your life, and Mars in Cancer is also trining your sun. But that means with Venus trining Neptune, your own ruler in your sign, there is somebody in your life already, Pisces, that meets your highest ideal. That is really somebody that you think the world of, and that you know is a good person for you. And what'd you do about it, Pisces? Did you just sit there and think how wonderful they were and never say a word? This is a time when you need to speak up, because there can be much better communication and more money to form, to make a fond dream, an old fond dream of yours come true. And since yours is a double-bodied sign, there might be two old fond dreams. One might involve a person that you're with, and one might involve something you love doing. And they can be combined now, which is great. And if you're thinking of moving or remodeling a home, that's going to work out beautifully, and there will be better communication and money for that too. So this is not a time when you can afford to waste a minute in any kind of wishful thinking. You've got to turn those wishes into reality right now, Pisces. while the stars are with you. They really are. It doesn't get better than 5 planets in a Grand Trine in water signs, particularly when Venus is trining your own ruler, Neptune, in your sign. That's somewhere around, there's just a perfect person for you. Okay, maybe the rest of the world doesn't think they're that perfect, but they would be perfect for you. Venus trine Neptune, they would be. What would make them so perfect? They understand you, Pisces. You know, Pisces are pretty good. Pisces rules escape. They can be one way with one group and one way with another group because it's a double-bodied sign. But there's somebody around that understands you, whichever way you are, Pisces. And they care about you. They really do. And Pisces can be a little bit timid at times, and they can be looking at a star and wishing that star was in their life, and still say nothing about it because they would be so afraid of what their limitations are. And since your sign does rule the 12th house of limitations, and all I'm saying is, Pisces, you just don't have anything to worry about right now. You just don't. Your sign has so much backup that I cannot think of anything better backing it up. Because Mars is trining your sun. That means it's giving you a ton of energy to act on your feelings. Mars is energy. And Saturn is in your sun sign, which is giving you an awful lot of stamina and strength and determination. There's nothing that's going to knock you over, Pisces. Nothing. You don't have to worry about that. And then you have Venus trining your sun. So Pisces, even if you weren't looking for love, it might be coming your way. But I have a feeling that somewhere in your heart, you were yearning for it. And that could be coming your way too. But you have to speak up. You know, life is not a guessing game. Life is actually reality, and so is love. Because it's inside of us. It's real. You have a heart, Pisces. Well, so does somebody else who cares about you. And there should be nothing stopping the love from flowing back and forth. There shouldn't be. Venus is the planet of love, and it's trining your own ruler, Neptune, in your sign. So the communication can be very good right now. You should try it, Pisces. It's going to be successful if you do. And also, there's going to be money around to make a change in your life that will better your life. And I think it will be with perhaps the perfect partner, the one you've always been dreaming about. You know, whoever that person is, and whoever you are too, Pisces, because you're both special people, the money doesn't matter. Because sharing true love, it means you're sharing the real riches of your heart. And nobody can hurt that or touch it. It's just between you and whoever you love. And you know, they're giving to you, you're giving to them. It's something beautiful. And this is a time when that can happen. But you do have to speak up. You may as well. Mercury's trining your sun. There's nothing wrong with you communicating. It's going to work. So good luck, Pisces. If ever you were going to make an old fond dream come true, it's now. Just speak up. There's also going to be enough money for it. Venus is trining your sun, and Venus is in a fixed financial sign. There will be an element of fairness about all that. So just speak up and admit the love that's in your heart, and admit it to the one you love. Because I have a feeling they've been really dying to hear that, because they feel the same way. So give it a go, and good luck. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. You can subscribe to my show and tell your friends about it, because I'd really appreciate that. And it's called STARBORN, but it's the Karen Campbell channel on YouTube. And I would appreciate you doing that. And until then, I will be happy to see you right here next week. Bye.